Hello, my name is Stephen Hamil and I'm Director of Design and Innovation at NBS. Today I'm going to demonstrate how NBS Create in NBS National BIM Library can be used to help information flow all the way through the BIM process. Hi, so this is the NBS National BIM Library website. This is a UK industry free-to-use resource of NBS standard BIM content. So www.nationalbimlibrary.com. What I'm going to do here is just scroll down and have a look at some of these objects. So I'm going to click on roofs, and what we can see here is we have objects that support the whole BIM process. So I could do a search here and say I'm just after generic objects, and what you can see, you can take a roof object that's just a concept roof that will help you define the spaces in your building. As the project goes on, you can pick from a number of different UK constructions that are typically used on projects in the UK. Finally, at the end of the process, you may want to swap the generic product in for a specific product from a manufacturer. So what I've done here is filtered for just flat roofs from the manufacturer's Seeker sauna fill. And as you scroll down the page, you can see there's a number of BIM objects that represent the real-life product from that particular manufacturer. And you can see they come in a number of formats and they come with their own user guide. So come down now, and all you've got to do is sign on with a registered user account, and then you download in any format that you wish. We've got a number of plugins that help these objects get used in different BIM platforms. Today I'm going to demonstrate in a tool called Autodesk Revit, and what you can see along the top is the NBS Plug-in. I've deliberately picked a quite simple building just to get the concept across. So drop down here and have a look at the ground floor of the building. What I'm going to do is zoom into the garage area, and we want to add some BIM content into the design. What I've done is open the download resource on the right hand side, and you can see the whole content from National BIM Library there alongside the main design tool. So I can scroll down here and say I'd like to add a panel partition or a panel cubicle or sanitaryware, and you find the item that you like, and then what you can do is just drag and drop it from the right hand side from the National BIM Library website and pull it straight into your design. Now the panel cubicle is wall mounted, so you can see I cannot add it to the centre of the garage, but as I move it nearer the wall, then you see it sort of snaps to position. And then I just click to drop it. You can use the search functionality as well. So maybe I want to drop a hand basin in, I search for basin, press return, all online. I can now see the different items, which I could filter if I wished, or I can just come to the item I'd like, read the user guide, or drag and drop it again straight into the design. Okay, it's not just the BIM objects that you can sort of use inside your design package, but also all of the NBS technical information. So maybe if I was designing this bathroom and I wanted information on the accessibility guidance, I could click on any of the sanitaryware, and on the right hand side, the NBS technical guidance synchronizes to show the right information at the right time. So coming down here now, I can click on accessible design, and you can see it's taking me straight to links to various British standard documents, various sections of the approved documents for England and Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, Scotland. That principle continues across all of the objects from National BIM Library. So I could come across here now and maybe click on a door. The guidance on the right hand side, it's got all of the NBS design guidance, the general guidance about door, shutter and hatch systems. So maybe at this early stage I wanted to think about my fire strategy. I can come and read the guidance on fire resistant and smoke control doors, door sets, shutter assemblies. Expert guidance put together by our technical team and completely free to users as part of their existing NBS subscription. So if you already subscribe to NBS, all of this information will come to life behind your logon. There's quite some nice illustrations as well that maybe help you with detailing. So I come across and click on the external wall. Maybe I'm thinking of wall ties in my sort of 2D section. I drop down to wall ties here, and again lots and lots of links to key industry documents, guidance associated with these, and then little illustrations that you can open and have a look. And this all can be done before you actually start writing your specification. Okay, so I'm just going to close this panel for a second and show how the specification actually sort of comes into this process. So let's just get rid of the cubicle and the wash basin. Okay, there's a new bit of functionality here that is maybe something that's the first sort of worldwide, but it's the ability to create a specification directly from the building information model. And we're not just talking about Microsoft Word documents or PDFs, but this is a proper BIM enabled specification which talks about property sets and objects and related objects. So the toolbar at the top, you can see we've got a new button, new NBS Create specification, and it analyzes the model, and then it asks you, where would you actually like to create this specification? So it's going through all of the different objects, and I come now and I'm going to create the specification in demo, and I just call it demo spec. Now the relationship between the geometric model and the specification model is that it ignores the instances information. So if there's 13 or 14 doors in this model, but there are only two type, an external door and an internal door, it will add two type clauses to the specification. NBS Create is based around systems, so it finds a product by itself, it asks what the parent system is. So we've got a mirror here, and I'm adding it to a sanitary accessory system. And it's done all the analysis it needs to do. It's now a case of connecting to the NBS web server and pulling down the very latest specification clauses. And what it's doing is creating an outline spec from the National BIM Library objects. So we can see it's adding two types of windows, different floor covering systems, paving, turfing. And we get a screen pop up in a second which will tell us that the specification has been successfully created. And we can see here we've got a ceiling system, the paving system. You can click on these. So there's the paving system, internal floor tiling system, to the different washrooms in the building. And it's telling me the specification has been created at the following location. It tells you also which objects are not National BIM Library objects, and we maybe come back to that in a moment and show how that can actually be linked. So I'm going to jump across now to NBS Create and open the specification that's just been created. So jump across to demo, and there's demo spec. Yeah, click open, and what we're going to see in NBS Create is all of the systems, all of the type objects that relate to the design that I've just put together. And this design can now flow through the timeline from sort of outline, concept stage, all the way through to as-built. So let's demonstrate that in terms of maybe the door sets here. I click outline, and we can see the outline specification. At an early stage, you're not going to want to write a lot of detail about these items, but I could come down to the door sets, for example, and against door set type A, I could write in internal door, low spec. So maybe write a little bit about design responsibilities, maybe capture some of the client's brief, external door, high spec. So maybe if the partition system here, was going to be contractor design, you can make a little note of that here, so when you come to write further content a few months later, you know exactly what the design responsibilities are, what the brief is. Okay, so we go to the next stage. Let's say come into here and look at the partition system. I can then specify this in terms of all of the component products that make up the partition system, or I can specify it in terms of its overall system performance. So I'm going to come through here and you can pull this information in and say design in terms of structural, fire performance, acoustic performance. And as you make those decisions, it adds the very latest clauses from NBS and adds them to your specification. The same applies if you want to add the component products, or you want to specify workmanship, or you want to specify system completion. Let's just jump across the door and see that in a little bit more detail. What I'm going to do for the door set is specify both the internal door and external doors in terms of its fire, acoustic and security performance. So here I am in door set type A. I can see the brief coming through saying it's the internal door, it's got to be low spec, and I'm very quickly going to now just add 30-minute fire performance. I'm going to add 30 decibel acoustic performance. Again, you see the guidance synchronizes the right guidance at the right time. And a little bit further down, I'm going to add some basic security performance. Let's jump back across and do the same thing to the external door. So same principles apply. Go to the system performance drop down and invoke fire, acoustic and security performance. It brings in those very latest clauses. It maintains the relationship between the parent clause and the child clause. For this external door, I'm going to add sort of really high fire performance, high acoustic performance, and security rating 8. So you can see how more information is getting added to the specification as the project continues. And that can go from performance to full specification of all the products, the workmanship, system completion. In NBS Create, there's content for all of the main construction disciplines: architecture, mechanical, electrical, engineering, landscape architecture, structural engineering, minor civils. So we've got a specification model that's developing in parallel with the design model. Jump back across to the design model. I'm just going to show how easy it is to add annotations now that the design model is linked to the specification model. So I'm going to jump across to annotate and very quickly just add some tags. So there's my windows, there's a carpet, there's bath. Sort of zoom in here, add that to the toilet, and then just spend a few moments just neatening these up a little bit. Recognizes the difference between type A and type B for the window systems. And it's just sort of a big time saver. It's a time saver in terms of accuracy, because you know you're picking from the right items in the spec, and it's also a big advantage on efficiency in terms of how fast you can put these annotations in. You annotate the type object once, and it filters through all your drawings and your schedules. So what I'm going to show now is what happens when the information becomes out of sync. So I jump across to NBS Create, and maybe we change our mind on the carpet system. So I drop down here and remove that from the job. Maybe it's too expensive and I want to specify a different floor covering here. So let's just come through here and we'll add, instead of an edge fixed carpet system, we'll add a rolled carpet system. And WC assembly on the left hand side will maybe rename to toilet system. remember the doors to the garage area, we're in National BIM Library components, so I've got to add that specification myself. So we'll see what door sets are here in NBS, and I'll add industrial door set system and tweak that a little bit to make it a garage door. So we've got a few changes now that we've actually got to bring the design model back into sync. I'm going to change that to garage door. So now we've got a potential problem that the annotations in all the drawings are slightly out of sync with what's in the specification. And this is a big cost to industry if these aren't checked correctly. I think our research shows that it's about £2 billion worth of rework are done every year on construction projects in the UK. I think 10% of all claims, construction claims that go to the courts. So instead of having to check through hundreds and hundreds of drawings and specifications and sign your name against it, I can come to the NBS toolbar and ask to verify annotations. And what this is going to do now is check through the specification and check that against what's in the model. So let's just move this across a little bit. And we can see here that the edge fixed carpet system has been removed by a user, and the WC assembly, if I go further down, has been renamed to toilet system on the 7th of May by a particular user. So I can come down here and say rename and model, and if you watch the left hand side, you see WC assembly in the design model changed to toilet system. The edge fixed carpet system, you can't just automatically rename, you've got to look inside the specification and pick the relevant clause. So I have a little scan down here and I can see the rolled carpet system now, and when I click associate, you can see all of the errors go to 0, and the edge fixed carpet system has changed to rolled carpet system. If we click on other objects, we can see we've got the garage door that's not currently annotated. So I can click that button and go and look at it. And then in terms of stamping the parameters in, what I've got to do is select the garage door, come to the NBS toolbar at the top, and just say associate this object with the clause in the spec. There's the garage door set system, and that's now been stamped in. So when I go and check my annotations again, verify annotations, I can see I've now got 20 objects that are linked, not just 19. And if we come down to the door sets, there's the garage door set, which is now in sync between the design model and the specification model. Okay, one final thing I'd like to show now is how this information, we've seen it flow from outline stage into detailed design stage, maybe even as built if you had manufacturer information in here. But I can show how you can go from BIM tools such as Autodesk Revit, such as NBS Create, into platform independent tools. So I'll call this demo IFC. And what I'm doing now is exporting all of the information from Autodesk Revit but combining it with the information from NBS Create. This is beta functionality, so it's probably going to be the second half of the year when it's actually released. We've worked very closely with BIM Academy up at Northumbria University in terms of developing this functionality. A chap called Professor Steve Logley, who you can maybe Google, have a look at what he's doing up there. But what that's done is created a combined IFC. So I jump across to any IFC viewer. This is Celebri Model Checker, and I can now come through and find Demo IFC and see all of that same information, but in an open source data format. So this could be 10 years from now, where the facility manager wants to come and have a look at the information inside this model. What they can do now is maybe say, okay, give me a report on the doors in the model. So come along here, look at the doors, find the external door. And when I click on that external door, what we can see under IFC 2x3 property set door common is the information that was specified in NBS Create earlier down the project chain. So we can see the fire rating for the external door, 120 minutes, a security rating of 8, an acoustic rating of 55 to the latest British standard. I can get a report on all the doors if I go for information takeoff. So let's have a little report on all doors. So it's one I've already put in as a query. And let's just sort of twist this around a little bit. When I click take off all, it just shows me the doors in the design. And there's the connection between the 3D model at the top and the property sets in the door schedule at the bottom. So we can see the door number, the NBS reference and title. We can have any of the geometric properties that we wish. But then the key performance properties that have been mapped between NBS Create and the IFC all come through there. So the 12 internal doors with basic security, 30-minute fire rating, and the external door with 120 minutes. So the information flowing all the way through the BIM process and then being there in an open format at the end. One last thing I'd like to show is the ease at which COBie spreadsheets can be generated, or COBie datasets. So let's just jump back across to Autodesk Revit again. What I included inside the living room was timber floor, but not just a generic timber floor object, but timber floor from a particular manufacturer. So let's just hover over the flooring here and see if I can select it. So this hardwood floor here, as I say, is not just a generic floor, but it's a floor from a manufacturer, Atkinson Kirby, the Concept 2 range solid. It's got the links to their website, it's got replacement cost, production year, guarantees, warranty, service life, all that information inside the property sets. I jump across to Celebrity Model Viewer again, and this time I ask for a report on all the COBie properties generated from the IFC, and I can just quickly open up the UK template for COBie, and I click calculate, and it's a small design, but in 1, 2, 3 seconds it's populated the entire COBie data set. Take the pain away from creating COBie, forgetting about Microsoft Excel and thinking about true BIM, linked to the 3D model via IFC. So what I can do now is I can see all of the spaces in the design. I could come across and have a look at all the components, the instances. So let's just come down and see that particular floor cover. So there's my hardwood floor, which is to the sort of study, to the corridor, and to the lounge. Then I can jump across to the type objects, where I can get the full specification, the benefits of linking NBS Create with National BIM Library, the information in BIM, and I can drop down now and have a look at what all the sort of detail about that hardwood floor. So there's the floor covering type, and as I scan across here, you can see the manufacturer, Atkinson Kirby Limited. You can see the model, the Concept 2, the guarantees, and all that information. So 25 years expected life. The key sort of material is there in your sort of single IFC file at the end, and you can quite easily sort of link the specs by PDF if you want to see sort of what the workmanship or what the system completion tolerances were. But the key information, key performance information, manufacturer information, all in that single IFC file with that COBie data set for you. So thank you everyone for listening today, everyone that's watched the video, and hopefully you've seen how by using specification tools such as NBS Create, by using well-structured objects such as NBS National BIM Library, you can take BIM sort of further than crash detection and drawing generation and start to focus on the information in BIM, the I in BIM. Thank you very much.